The night was unusually quiet as Maya finished another exhausting shift at the toll booth where she worked alone. The empty highway stretched into darkness, illuminated only by the occasional headlights cutting through the rain. Life had never been easy for her. Every day felt like a struggle to survive, and every paycheck disappeared almost as soon as it arrived. Her closest friend, Dinny, often joked that bad luck seemed to follow Maya wherever she went. Maya laughed along, but deep inside she wondered if it was actually true. One evening, a strange man approached the toll booth. His appearance immediately made Maya uncomfortable. His pale face was covered with scars, and his eyes stared at her with unsettling intensity. Without warning, he whispered words that would change her life forever. "You are cursed, and the curse began in your village." Before Maya could ask what he meant, the man suddenly attacked her with a knife. She managed to defend herself, and nearby drivers quickly intervened before the attacker was arrested. Even as the police dragged him away, he kept shouting that Maya had to return to her ancestral village before it was too late. The terrifying encounter refused to leave Maya's mind. She had grown up believing she had no family left and no place she truly belonged. Her parents had died when she was young, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Now, for the first time, someone claimed that her forgotten village held the truth about her past. Curiosity slowly overcame fear. After some investigation, Maya discovered that an abandoned house in a remote village might legally belong to her family. If the property was real, selling it could finally free her from years of financial hardship. It sounded like the opportunity she had been waiting for. Dinny agreed to accompany her despite feeling uneasy about the entire situation. Together they boarded an old bus that carried them far away from the busy city. The farther they traveled, the narrower the roads became. Dense forests surrounded the vehicle, and the cheerful sounds of civilization disappeared, replaced by the haunting silence of nature. When they finally arrived, the village looked frozen in time. Ancient wooden houses stood beneath towering trees. The roads were empty, yet Maya couldn't shake the feeling that countless eyes were secretly watching her from behind curtains and cracked windows. Every villager they met stared at her with expressions that mixed curiosity, fear, and hope. Something about her face seemed strangely familiar to them. An elderly woman approached Maya and gently touched her cheek before whispering a prayer. Another villager burst into tears after seeing her. None of it made any sense. The women rented a small room in a local house while pretending to be university students conducting research on traditional culture. Maya hoped the lie would prevent unwanted attention, but it only seemed to make the villagers even more suspicious. As night fell, the peaceful village transformed into something far more disturbing. Strange sounds echoed through the forest. Shadows moved between the trees without explanation. Maya awoke after hearing footsteps outside her window, yet when she looked outside, no one was there. Only dozens of lifeless dolls hung from nearby branches, swaying gently in the wind. The next morning, Maya explored the village on her own. She soon discovered an enormous mansion hidden deep within the trees. Time had reduced it to ruins, but traces of its former beauty remained. Broken statues stood in silence while vines covered cracked walls. Maya felt an overwhelming sense of familiarity as she stepped inside, as though childhood memories were struggling to return. She found old family portraits covered in dust. One photograph stopped her cold. The young woman in the picture looked exactly like her. Before she could inspect it further, footsteps echoed behind her. She turned quickly, but no one was there. The silence became unbearable. Suddenly she heard children's laughter drifting through the empty halls. The sound was impossible. There were no children. Maya ran outside, her heart pounding uncontrollably, only to find Dinny waiting for her with a frightened expression. Dini admitted that several villagers had secretly questioned her about Maya's identity. They seemed convinced that Maya's arrival would finally end a terrible curse that had haunted the village for decades. Neither of them believed in curses. At least, not yet. That evening, they noticed every house closing its doors unusually early. Parents hurried their children indoors before sunset. Nobody dared remain outside after darkness covered the village. It was almost as if everyone feared that something terrible would emerge once night arrived. Neither Maya nor Dini realized they had already become part of a nightmare that had been waiting many years for their return. And somewhere beyond the forest, hidden beneath the shadows, someone had been watching Maya since the moment she entered the village.